the Memory Guest House. Great place to stay if you're ever in Johor. Everything has changed.
Ooh, a lovely bit of highway riding first thing in the morning. That'll wake you up. Got to have your wits about you. The hard bit about this highway riding, and we've only got a couple of K left, is, well, apart from trying to stay alive, is major intersections where you're just not entirely sure which road to take. You're going fast, you're trying to keep an eye on the traffic, sudden decision, you could be off in a completely different direction. This one, I think we just stay straight. And then the next tricky bit is where you've got a road merging from the left to sort of on-ramp. Because that, you've got to time well. Ooh, I think there's a gap. I think there's a gap. There's a gap! Woohoo! Libs. Looks like we're going on the expressway. I hadn't planned for that. Let's see what happens. I know it has been done by bicycle. Okay, no barriers. And through. We're on the real highway now. Actually, it's better because there is a generous bike lane, so I feel a lot safer, funnily enough. I think we go about 10k on here, and then we get off onto smaller roads. And let's get that 10k done. And that's the end of the highway. Oh lordy, that was hairy. Back onto a normal Malay main road now. A very different experience. I thought you'd want to see just a little bit of that. It's not all ambling along palm tree lined little green lanes and fluffy pussycats. When you're bike touring, you've got to take the rough with the smooth sometimes, and that, boy, that was rough. In fact, that's up there as one of the worst. Anyway, we're out now. We'll see how this route works out. If not, we'll try and get onto some smaller roads. Another cyclist ahead. Yeah, much quieter road this. A breath of fresh air. Now I'll explain what's changed and what the new plan is when these trucks have gone. So the original vague plan was to go up the east coast, knowing that it's monsoon season. So I checked the weather, it's monsoon season. I don't really fancy that. So the other option, ride all the way back to Thailand. Having been all the way down to Singapore, it's about 1,000 kilometers back up to Hat Yai. And not only did I really not plan to be away long enough to do another 1,000k, but I've learned more about Malaysian roads on this trip. Last year I kind of got away with it. People have warned me many times. And there are some great roads in Malaysia, but there's also some not so great ones. Glad he's on a chain. Better be a strong one. Woo! Back onto some gravel. Yeah, baby. So here's the new plan. We ride back to KL. Well, in fact, not even back to KL. I don't want to ride any more north than that. There's another factor, and that is I'm getting a bit sick. Sore throat developing, sniffles, sneezing, that sort of thing. Probably not going to kill me, but it's the last thing you need when you're on a cycling tour. Anyway, it's what I've got. So, new plan. We're going to head back north. We're going to head back to Malacca, so we'll stick to the west coast. In theory drier, though it does look like it's going to rain today. It's very grey out. But we won't stop in Kluang. We'll stop in Bahupatat, something like that. Not great with these Malaysian names, but I think that's close enough. We'll stop there for the night, and then we'll be back in Malacca tomorrow, and then we'll ride, I think, maybe 70k the next day, and then we'll get on a train into KL. My friend Jefferson put me onto that. Got a bit lost in the woods there, literally. My computer let me down again. So I think we're back into a little town now. I haven't had any brekkie. I could do with food. Aye. What do we have here? Second breakfast. Hello. Not the best durian I've had. A little bit low on flavour and with big stones in the middle, so it's more stone than flesh. I mean, still good, but not the best. Yeah, not the tastiest durian, but I did just realise it could be my taste buds because I'm getting sick. Only one way to find out, and that's probably eat more. Banana plantation. The fruits are wrapped up in plastic bags. Keep the birds off, keep the pests off. Back onto more of the roads I like now. I was following Jefferson's route, who I mentioned earlier, that he sent me last night. But however, he was riding directly from Singapore to Malacca, a trip of 265 kilometers in a day. So I suspect he went for a very direct route. I'm very happy here to take a more wandering, rambling route if it gets me off the highways. Hello, yeah. Pineapple King. Definitely a game of two halves today. Well, not even two halves. First 20k was hellish, but since then it has been lovely actually. Even the sort of main roads have been fine, but it's been a lot of these little quiet roads, so not complaining. Not feeling 100% still. Feel a bit weak. Maybe not surprisingly. Fortunately though, although it's looked like raining all day, it hasn't rained so far, but it is relatively cool. 25 degrees, very cool for around here. Humid, but cool. Anyway, another hour or so into town, and then we're going to look for somewhere to stay. Into Batu Pahat. Rain kept off. 5.5 hours riding. Pretty flat, but I feel pretty cooked. Anyway, let's go and look for a hotel. I've got one in mind. Next morning. Terima kasih. Out of the whatever it's called, City Hotel 88. We have got. Oh, has it stopped raining? It was raining earlier when I came out, which was the last thing I needed. Yeah, I think it stopped raining. We've only got 100k to do today, and flat, of course. So easy day, except still sick. Not sicker. That's the main thing. Time for a quick. Yeah, I haven't gone through the gear on this one. I mean, because it's kind of sort of the same, but not quite the same. Because I have got two new bags. I did, if you remember, in my last bikepacking trip. Where was I going? Somewhere. The Thai Alps. That's it. My bag broke on the penultimate day. In fact, both broke. The front bag was going, so I bought two new bags from Decathlon. This one's superb. You get quite a bit in it, and it was cheap. It was like 500 baht, like 12 quid. And then this frame bag also excellent. I'm very happy with that. Let's see how long the zip lasts. I'll try not to stress it so much this time, but it's a little bit longer and a little bit narrower this way, which is actually good because it's easier to get at the bottles then. They're not getting squeezed so much, but I seem to be able to get just as much in it. I can get my Kindle in, that's the main thing. And then this oversized, well, not oversized, but big saddle bag. I've got quite a bit in there. Shoes hanging off the back. Camera and chargers and stuff in my Rock Bros bento bag. Top tube bag. Karoo as ever, sending me sometimes the right way, sometimes not. And yeah, Cannondale Topstone. Let's get on the road. Well, sorry, Batu Pahat, but not my favourite city. Fine for a night, that was it. So I could do with a rest day just to be a bit sick, but I'm not doing it there. Hotel wasn't cheap, it was like £16 for the night once they added the tourist tags. And I know I've got a cheap place to stay in Malacca. So 100k to Malacca, flat, 4 or 5 hours, should be fine, not raining, not feeling 100%, but not feeling 10% either, somewhere in between. It's not hot, it's not sunny, so if like yesterday it just stays cloudy and doesn't rain, that is perfect by me. And we're on a nice quiet road already. I don't normally tour flat countries, the exceptions being the Mekong Delta in Vietnam, which I did tour back in COVID times, and it's just very pretty and very interesting sort of culturally. And Malaysia, I would say, if we can get on these roads. Highways, no. These roads, yes. And it counts as a bit of a rest as well, well, if I'm not sick anyway, because I do quite a lot of climbing. According to Strava, I climbed nearly 1/3 meters last year. That's like, I don't know, like 40 times up Everest. So probably, no, definitely my second most meters of ascent in a year. So I think I deserve an easy flat tour. Love these trees. I see them all over the world. I got to know them in the Caribbean and the Dominican Republic. Beautiful leaves. I don't know the Latin name. I know in Dominican it's called guenpan, also castanea. It has a fruit, a very weird sort of fruit that's like a potato when you steam it, but it's actually really delicious. You can steam it, or you can sort of steam it and fry it, and that's how they cook it in the Dominican. Here, I have no idea. It's getting darker and darker. I can feel a few spits of rain already, so I think we're going to be in for some rain. Well, you know my mantra, you get what you get, though I could have done without it today. Gang of dogs ahead. Potential trouble? Nah, scaredy cats, scaredy dogs. You know, there's very few dogs in Muslim countries, and the ones that are there tend to know their place. Not like Thai dogs, which just love chasing bicycles. Good doggies. Oh, feisty one. There's always one. Just like that, the cool drizzly weather is gone and we're back to sun, and suddenly it feels like the temperature's been cranked up and the humidity. So the big question, what's on today's durian menu? Well, there is no durian menu. I did see one seller much earlier, haven't seen anything since, but if we see something appropriate we shall screech to a halt and sample their wares. Back into Malacca. Didn't get rained on in the end. All went well. Nice little rides. No durian though. Yet. back to the Three Little Birds, shower, food, maybe food shower, we'll see, rest, and then we'll decide what we're doing tomorrow, whether we take a rest day or head on to KL. Out of the Three Little Birds again. Ciao.
Ciao.
Back on the road, but not for long. Riding out of Malacca City, final leg of the journey. I would love to say it was coming to a massive crescendo with a huge climb or a 200-kilometer day, but it's a 38-kilometer ride to the train station. I hear you cry, not very hardcore, I know. It's 150k back to KL. However, the last 50k pretty much is just riding into town. It's a big old sprawling city. I knew it wouldn't be fun. And then Jefferson saved the day, my friend who was giving me advice on this route. He said, you know how easy it is to take a bike on a train in Malaysia? Bit of a highway, nothing lovely so far. Sadly, I kind of lost my appetite a bit in Malacca, not a good sign, and no durian was consumed, but hoping we get one last tasting in before we finish the durian tour. Off the main road, well, we're going under the main road. This is the highway above that we've just got off, thankfully. And maybe now on some quieter roads to Tampin. Yeah, Jeff tells me the railway is as simple as turning up, scanning your credit card, because I don't think you can pay cash, and then through the barrier you go and onto the train with your bike. No special compartment, nothing like that, as long as it's before 3 p.m, the witching hour. Last bit of gravel maybe. Sort of gravel, sort of paved, sort of gravel. Yeah, no, looks like it's becoming very gravelly. Nice. Tampin railway station. Now, I need a cold drink. Could do with a snack because it's a couple of hours at least. Let's see what's available. Let's see what time the train leaves. Upstairs by the looks of it. Easy peasy. It's for KL? Yeah, okay. Terima kasih. Bike got filthy right at the end, of course, but yeah, very easy. I think we leave in 10 minutes. easy as... Nearly got caught in then. As easy as that. Out of the station and into KL, and we're very close to our guest house. That's the easiest bike on a train anywhere in the world. And that's the end of my Durian tour of Malaysia. Maybe one last hit at the Durian if I can find some. And we're back to our hostel. We'll step in. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like, subscribe, watch to the end. See you all soon on today's ride.